Okay. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to. Sorry. Oh my God, that's a blunder right there. It's the wind. All right. Sorry.
It's okay. Absolutely okay. I'm sure at some point my dog will bark. It's just fine.
Yeah. I actually have a cat beside me. He's sleeping right now. He might meow later on.
I think it's only appropriate since we're doing this about pets.
Yeah.
We'll go, like, wait, where are you?
Oh, hello.
Down there is Ambrose's backside. There he goes.
Oh, that's your Westie. Yeah. That's my little angel right there, sleeping. See him?
Oh, puddin' pie.
He's a senior cat already. All right. Okay. So I think we got that right. All right. Okay. Take two. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show. My name is Berns Galang, and you can call me Berns or Bernsberry. And today we are going to be talking about our connections with our pets, our beloved animals, and how to deal with the passing of a beloved furry companion, and how we can use art and literature in order to understand them better. And so I'm here today with our guest, Sid Korpi. She is blessed with so many talents and gifts. She's an award-winning author, an actress, and an artist. And she's also an ordained animal chaplain, and she helps people deal with difficult circumstances with pet loss. So, hello, Sid. Welcome to our show. Thank you so much for your time and for being with us.
So happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so happy to have you here. All right. Would you like to introduce yourself or tell us more about yourself?
Sure. I wrote a book called Good Grief, Finding Peace After Pet Loss, after I'd actually experienced what I call a tsunami of loss. In a very short amount of time, I lost my mother, stepfather, uncle, 3 dogs, 3 cats, cockatiel, 15-year marriage, and 2 best lady friends. So at that point, I kind of said to the universe, you better give me a reason to explain why I'm the only one on this side of the veil anymore. And the book was the result. And I opened it up and I got stories and feedback from people all over the entire world to share their stories of their bonds with their pets and their struggles to get through the grieving process, because it's a very different kind. I call it a disenfranchised kind of grief, meaning a lot of people just don't understand it and don't support you through it. It's kind of like if someone has a miscarriage and then somebody just says, well, it's good, you can just have more. It totally blows off and discounts the pain you're actually in. And if you are unlucky enough to be surrounded by people who, for whatever reason, don't understand that bond, then you're left to struggle so much harder than if you are able to have people around you who say, I totally get that.
Yeah, that's actually, I get that too, because I've also encountered that as well. And first, well, can't really control what other people think and say and how they behave, but it's them. But we just have to find our own way and how to deal with this and to soothe ourselves and soften the grieving process. It's actually you actually shared a very wonderful story. I'm happy to hear that, because I'm actually I also suffered from pet loss just recently, and having this vision to create the picture book that I've mentioned. It's something that has been in my head for quite some time, and it's been calling and calling and calling and calling. And I had a cat who got so sick just a few months back, and well, it was tough. It was really a struggle, and I'm still grieving until now. It profoundly crushed me. But at the same time, during the grieving process, the vision to create something meaningful for pets, for animals, strengthened that. So um, I may be heartbroken by his passing, but it actually fixed my vision. I don't want to say that, but that's really what it is, I guess.
I understand completely. A lot of times, our pets will do that. They'll time their passing when they know we're ready to do something, you know, when their job with us is apparently done. And you can just love and thank and honor that pet because you're not alone. I mean, my book came out of that.
Yeah.
There have been other famous people who have taken that kind of loss and really turned it to something powerful. For instance, there's an author named Lillian Jackson Braun, and she writes a series of mysteries called The Cat Who, and then there's an ending to the title, The Cat Who Sang the Blues, or, you know, whatever. And in it, there are two Siamese cats, Coco and Yum Yum. And Coco is like prescient, and he can tell if somebody's been murdered, and he kind of gives clues to his owner, Quillerin, to solve it. Now, the reason she's written this really, really long series was because she had a Siamese cat, and some absolutely evil, horrible person threw it off a 7th-story balcony.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And so now she, absolutely, but she writes every one of these books with a cat who gets the bad guy. And, you know, so she's able to work that through and honor the pet at the same time. So there are people like you who will, you know, start up rescue organizations and things like that. And it's remarkable what we can do to transform grief if we trust in ourselves, trust in the love our pet gave us, trust in the universe, whatever, and it can be really remarkable.
I totally agree. And sometimes these let's just say contrasting experiences really brings us to a better place and puts us into a higher vision where, you know, places that we never thought would be possible, like your story and what I'm about to embark on. So and pair that with connection with pets, it's that just makes it really very special and beautiful.
Absolutely. There's so much to be grateful to our animals for. That's just one of myriad things.
Yeah, that's how special and wonderful they are. So, okay, so can you share with us your journey on how you became an animal chaplain?
Well, I had been promoting my book and so forth for quite some time. And then I started to get asked to do things like animal blessings. And I thought,
Oh, wow.
that's a perfect thing to do, you know, as groups and, you know, tell stories of how remarkable animals are. And that felt really good. But then inside my heart, I knew I had to do something that was even harder for me to do than write the book. And that was to be there for people who are struggling with coming to grips with knowing when to help their pet pass, or to help them grieve and move beyond that, or to celebrate their pets' lives. So I have been with several people when they've had their pets euthanized. I've been there with them, sobbing my eyes out, even if I'd never met the pet before. Or I've gone to vets and been with, for instance, my sister's dog. She didn't feel up to accompanying her schnauzer, Pebbles. And I said I would go in with her because she was so afraid that she was, you know, jumping the gun or something. And I was able to tell her that Pebbles was very calm and very certain this was what she wanted, and she was grateful. And I think the reason my sister was very scared about having chosen the wrong time was Pebbles had been having seizure after seizure after seizure, and she knew it was something they couldn't treat her for, and she was nearing the end. But as soon as she made the appointment at the vet, Pebbles suddenly was hopping around like she was a puppy again. And
Oh,
my sister,
wow.
oh my gosh, no, I've done it wrong. I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. I had to explain to her that that's a really common thing to have happen, not only with animals, but even I've had it with people in my lives who are in hospice or whatever. It's like they have one more burst of clarity or one more burst of vibrancy. And it's not to fool you into thinking, oh, I'm better now. It's actually to give you a gift of seeing them at their best rather than at their suffering worst. And they give you that as a last memory. But it's very hard to not second guess yourself when you've made that decision.
That's astounding. Wow. I mean, sometimes pets really know more than us.
Oh, most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, based from your experiences, how can pet parents be the key to their furry companion's happiness?
Well, the thing I recommend to people, and this sounds very strange, is plan for your pet's death from the day you get them. And it's not as moribund as it seems. What I'm saying is look very closely at your pet and find out what brings him or her absolute joy. You know, is it lying in a little patch of sunshine? Is it going swimming in a pond? Is it digging a hole? Is it playing fetch? Is it just getting lots of treats? Is it going on walks? Whatever things you see bringing joy out of your pet, that's what you need to keep an eye on as they age. And if those crucial happiness bringing things are no longer possible for them because of illness or pain or whatever, that's when you need to decide to step out of the way, take your needs out of the equation, and just say, this is an indication that you no longer are having the quality of life that you deserve. And you're counting on me, the pet parent, to help you through that. Because, you know, pets, they're not afraid of dying. They're afraid of, you know, losing us or hurting us or, you know, suffering themselves physically. But for them, death is just another form of existence. It's like walking into a new room. And if we are able to facilitate that in a very, very humane and gentle way, then it's often the final gift we can give back to them.
That's actually a bit daunting, but it's wonderful to know because awareness of the end is actually what's gonna make us or drive us to be more present in the moment,
Absolutely.
each moment that we have with them.
Precisely. Yeah. It makes what we have with them now so much sweeter and so much more poignant if we are aware that we've got to make their existence, which is so much shorter than ours generally,
right,
as wonderful and peaceful and loving and joyous as we can, because that's what they deserve.
Yes, very much. Yeah. And I suppose they view death differently as to most humans see it. So based from your experience, I mean, how do animals really see and feel about crossing the rainbow bridge?
Well, they're very accepting. I mean, they really, truly are. And every animal is going to be different in how they tell you this. I had a wonderful, beautiful Siamese cat named Genevieve who took it into her own paws to say, I'm dying on my own terms. And it was a series of fluke incidences when my first husband and I went and stayed the night at my mother's house. This was many, many, many years ago. And we normally didn't do that. But then when we came back, our neighbor said, I think I saw your cat outside your house on the front steps. I said, that's impossible. The porch was locked and everything. I mean, we had little windows open so she could be on the porch, but she couldn't get out. It was all locked up. And he said, no, I saw her. And we searched for a long time because she had been very sick, you know, coming up to this. And then I suddenly just had this deep feeling, and I told my husband, I said, you can stop looking. And I went to sleep that night, and I had a dream that I was proofreading a newspaper, and the headline of the newspaper said, "The End." And it was like, I needed proof of the end with my cat's life, because I could, you know, we couldn't find her. I got a call that same day from a friend of mine who is a psychic medium. And she said, I don't know why I was told to call you, but I was told to call you. What's going on? And I told her what had happened. And she said, now that makes sense. She said, I keep getting an address in my head, 3737 Emerson. Is that familiar to you? And I'm, no, not at all. Well, she came over and we drove around the neighborhood, and we finally found Emerson Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we came to where 3737 would have been. It was the center of Lakewood Cemetery.
Oh.
And that was the gift sent to me by my pet or angels or whoever. The gift was to show me, there's your proof. I'm where I want to be. I took care of this myself, but you can trust me. I'm gone and I'm okay. Yeah, it's kind of remarkable, isn't it?
It is very much.
And it's rare that our pets will take care of things like that. So many other times we are responsible for choosing that time. And I know this sounds bad, but if you are facing that decision, I urge you to err on the side of anticipating that they want to go earlier than later, because if you let them go, they're fine with any time, as long as it's a gentle passing and a peaceful one. They're not going to hurt anymore, and they're going to be fine because you're letting them go. You're giving them permission. But you will feel a million times worse and carry guilt with you forever if you make them hang on in pain because you don't want to let go. If you do it because of your own needs rather than putting theirs first, that's a really terrible burden of guilt to carry.
Right.
And there is no guilt in letting them pass when there is no other option, you know. I mean, we can keep people and animals alive for so much longer than they should just because medical technology can do it. But, you know, think for yourself. Do you really want extra time if it's spent in misery? Or do you want wonderful time until it's no longer wonderful and then you're free?
Right.
I would choose the latter.
Me too. Yeah, it's really true that from start to until the end, our pets really would teach us how to love and put others first more than ourselves. It's so it's really, really beautiful to have them. And I actually had I remember I adopted a senior cat years back. Yeah. But I didn't know he was sick. He actually had a kidney disease, but I didn't know back then when I took him, because the previous owner can't take care of him anymore because they had a baby and stuff, and he's a Persian cat, and they can't have the baby and the cat at in the same house. So I was the one who took care of the cat, and he had like 3 stress-free years with me. And then when his sickness manifested, I the vet told me that it's been going on for quite some time. And that at that time when I took him to the vet, he was having seizures, and I was panicking. And the vet said it's actually stage 4 already. And she was actually surprised because that was for the whole time that the cat was with me. He didn't he didn't show any manifestation or symptoms of being sick. So the vet said he was really stress free when I was with me, and the vet opinion was he he really chose to be strong for me until his body really couldn't take it.
Mhm.
And that time when he was in pain, and during his last days and last hours, I was actually contemplating if, okay, should I call another vet for euthanasia? And I really didn't know, because um, I can't tell if it's the right thing to do, because of course I will feel guilty, but at the same time I don't want seeing my pet in pain. But when I was crying and praying, I heard a voice. I'm not really sensitive, or not that spirit in that spiritual level, but I heard a voice that told me it's just pure emotions, just raw. But the message was like something like, he will choose when to go. And that moment when I heard it, I suddenly stopped. And I actually called the vet for a schedule for the euthanasia. And when I heard that voice, I really wasn't sure. But even before, what happened was, before the schedule with the vet, because he was supposed to come over and perform the euthanasia in our home.
Oh, that's much better than having to take them and frighten them and bring them in a car and everything. That's if you
Yeah,
can't.
it was a home service, but before that schedule, he took his last breath. So
My
I was,
little, my Westie Blanche, who was 16 this summer, did the exact same thing
oh wow,
before the vet could arrive.
oh
Amazing.
wow, amazing. Yeah. So my friend actually told me, oh my God, he freed you from that guilt. And it was right. The voice I heard wasn't the delusion at all. He will choose the time that he will go. That's what I heard, and that's what really
Absolutely.
happened.
And that was perfect with both your cat and my Blanche. Other ones, I think, will choose when they want you to help them. So sometimes, because I've had so many pets in my life, and I've only had one besides the cat who ran off to die. I only had the one who died in my arms. Everybody else needed that help. But I wanted to bring up a thing that was very, very important, and where you said you felt guilty about choosing when to let your cat go because you didn't know he was so sick. That is because all animals mask their pain and their illness.
Oh,
Mask it in nature to survive. Because if they show a weakness or a vulnerability, they could be attacked by their own pack or other animals. So it is not our fault all the time if we don't see what's wrong, because they will purposely keep it from us until it's often too late to do anything about it, because that's what's ingrained in their DNA. They have to mask it to survive.
yeah, I noticed that too. That's why I was actually thinking that how can we be more sensitive to what they really feel and what they really think.
Mhm.
And
Sometimes you'll have an animal that lets you know because, they might feel safe enough around you that they don't mask. They want the attention. But by and large, we can't always fault ourselves if we didn't know, because they didn't let us know.
yeah,
And
actually,
it's the natural course of their lives. That's what they're supposed to do. But it's really hard for us because then it's like, oh my gosh, you feel like I've let you down. I didn't see it. I didn't pay enough attention, but you probably did. If you're hurting about it, you were definitely trying to pay that much attention. And nature has its own way. It's
yeah,
not always pretty, but
yeah, and I guess they're just naturally selfless, to say, so to speak. All right. Okay. So yeah. How do you use? Yeah, you're an artist, right? So how do you use art for healing? And
well, I personally love to paint pet portraits, and I've done it for many, many, many people. And they'll often, some will do it when the pet's alive, but a lot of times it'll be right after they've passed or when they're close to passing or something. And to have a portrait like that, to be able to look at each day and just send off a quick "I love you" again, can be very healing. If you aren't artistically inclined yourself, you can find someone like you do beautiful portraiture. There are people who will help you with that. You could have a photo session. I have a friend here in Minnesota that takes pictures, you know, right before you're expecting to lose the pet, and just captures your last happy moments together, and that can be amazing. Otherwise, all kinds of art can help, even if you're not, you know, if you don't consider yourself an artist, you can still maybe plant a garden in honor of your pet. And that's a form of beauty that will be ongoing forever and will remind you of your love for that pet. You can write, excuse me, you can write a poem or a story, or just sit and meditate and say prayers to them. Anything that you're creating from your heart, whether it comes out in something tangible or just an intangible moment of love and thanks, that's still art. And that's still a tremendous way just to really say thank you, because it's so hard, you know. And I've had it myself where I felt guilty wanting to move on and have another pet. I just, oh no, they're going to think I didn't love them. But that's actually not true. All you have to do is send out the message to them and say, please find me the next animal who needs me in their lives, and send them to me. And they will. And it will be phenomenal. And you will just go, whoa, there's all these layers of coincidence or magic or whatever that come to pass. I know this came from Ludwig, or, you know, whoever. And all of those kind of things. It's all art. I mean, love is art. And that connection between us is art. And it, whether it's something that you could put on your wall or just something that you have inside to remember, it's still really, really a healing thing.
Wonderful. Yeah, because I can relate very much because I'm an artist myself. Yeah, which reminds me, I actually want to share this with you. It's one of the drawings that I made when I was talking to you about the Persian cat that I lost years back. Yeah,
That's
a stencil drawing.
beautiful.
And there's actually a bird there, because just a little story. When he passed on, just a few minutes after he took his last breath, a bird went inside my room where we were. It just perched right there.
In your house?
Yes. It just stayed there for I don't know how long. And then I was just like, I stopped and I just looked at him eye to eye. And oh my God, I just really felt that, oh my God, Grufford is that, because Grufford was the name of my cat. Is that you? Did you send the bird for me? And that's really how I felt, because
Yeah.
I really felt that calm and comforting energy while the bird was there, and he just flew and perched wherever. I don't know how long that was, but he was just there.
And he may have also been there as, you know, like a little angel to come and say, come on with me, kitty, come on, you know, and come and gather its spirit to the heavens. You know, it works both ways. And it's not at all unusual for animals and other things in nature to carry those kind of messages to us. It's quite remarkable. I had an uncle who was mentally challenged, and he would love to go and feed ducks off a pier. He'd just throw bread to them. And when he died, a duck, there's no lake or pond anywhere near the church, but a duck waddled up to the church door and pecked on it during his funeral.
Oh, oh wow. Interesting. Oh, wow.
I mean, I have so many stories of that kind. I'm here for 2 weeks, but I have a whole, in my book, I have an afterlife connection section that talks about those kind of things. And even since I've written the book, people have shared so many additional stories of these remarkable things where, you know, I think the key with this is, you know, you've heard the term seeing is believing.
Yes,
Well, we have to flip that on its head, because
right.
believing is seeing.
Yes,
If you don't believe in the possibility that the spirit lives on, you won't see anything. It'll be happening right in front of you and all over the place, but you're just, nope, got my blinders on. But if you are open to it, you'll be amazed at the wonderful, magical things that are out there. And it makes you feel, I mean, you'll still miss their physical presence. There's no doubt about that.
right.
But just knowing that they are still in existence, just in another form, because energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just
Right.
changes form. I
Yes.
mean, that if you want to be scientific about it, that's
Yeah.
quantum physics for you.
Right.
Just means that their atoms have rearranged and they're doing something else, but they haven't died in our hearts or in our minds, and they do still exist somewhere.
Right.
And it really has helped me to get my grieving process going faster and better. Like that situation with my cat, having all these things fall together, you know, I have that dream about proof of the end, and then the psychic calls me and we go to a cemetery. How much more could I ask for? You know,
Yeah.
for her to say, it's cool, I got this, it's done, and I'm okay. And I got over that tremendous grief faster than almost any before, because of that, you know, because of that message that was brought to me and just hammered home. And I couldn't deny it, wouldn't want to deny it. And I was able to let go of the guilt I felt. I thought, oh my God, I left my cat outside. No, I didn't. Somehow magically she got let out by some other means than me, because the door was still locked.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I guess it's just by the knowing that, or seeing them where they are, not where they were,
Mhm.
because there really is no death after all, if you really think about it.
Right. I firmly believe it. And I mean, everybody has the right to his or her own view of spirituality and whatnot. And whatever
Right.
thing you choose to believe in, whether it's nature or God or Buddha or anything, it's all legitimate. It's all, you know, what you need to connect with something beyond yourself. And
Right.
and it's just really important, because I think dogs and cats and other pets are really just little emissaries of
Right.
a loving universe.
Indeed, they are. And sometimes it's just a matter of choosing our thoughts, or what our perspective about them, and how we deal with these situations. So,
Mhm.
do you have other advice that you can give for pet owners on how to care for themselves after they've lost a beloved companion?
Yes, do whatever you can to comfort yourself, and maybe in those early days distract yourself with positive things. You know, don't overeat, don't drink yourself into oblivion or anything. um, get with friends or family members who understand. Cry, do a ceremony of some sort, light a candle. I held a funeral for one of my Westies, but I opened it up to everyone. I said, bring a picture of your own pets you've lost, and let's just, you know, memorialize them all. I had 30
Oh,
humans there. And so you can do a big thing, you can do a little thing. Let yourself grieve when you need to. Don't be embarrassed by it. If you need to take time off from work and just cry, do it. But I urge people not to just do a knee-jerk response of, I'm going to get a new one. I mean, for some people it works out, but the vast majority of us need a bit more time to grieve, and you'll know when you're ready. I can't tell you how many times I hear from people, I lost that pet, it hurt too much, I will never, never, never have another pet in my life. And they often mostly do, because they have enough time and space to find a new pet to love. But if you run out and just try to replace that pet, that's unfair to the individual you've just adopted, because you're imposing on them, you're going to be just like Fido or whoever.
Yeah.
And you can't expect that, nor should you. They're all completely individual creatures. So if you properly let yourself heal before you do that, then you will be in a better place to meet that animal where it is and accept it in all its wonderfulness and quirks and challenges and so forth, and not be constantly comparing them to the one you lost.
Right. So I guess anything that can soothe yourself in the process, and
Yeah.
little by little, just something that feels a little better, and not abrupt feeling okay in an instant, because it's like a fast moving car going that way. I mean, you can't really make it stop in an instant. You have to slow it down first.
Right, take your
the
foot
other
off
way.
the gas and let it decelerate, and take a relaxing bath, do some meditation, rent a funny brainless movie. I
Yeah.
really don't advise you to rent Marley and Me or Old Yeller or something like, or Bambi. Don't rent those. I mean, unless you really need to dig deep and just really wrench the tears out of yourself, then okay. But I personally couldn't watch one of those if I were in a grieving place. I would like, to watch The Jerk for a 40th time or something, just because it's mindless and silly and it distracts me. Because even when it's just a couple hours of distraction, when you're not actively in pain, that gives you a little bit of strength to face the next wave, because they'll come, they can come dozens of years later. Just you'll just suddenly have a thought and miss that particular pet from when you were 16 or whatever. And it's okay. It's part of the process. It's not a cut and dried, okay, well, let's see, I've got 3 more hours to grieve. Come on. And every time we lose something or someone, it triggers the same synapses in our brain from when we've had other losses. So it can feel even greater each time we do it, because it brings with that the memories and the visceral feelings of all other losses before us. And the only thing that will make that more tolerable is the experience of knowing that they're okay. Even our human losses, they're fine too, because they can, connect with us and say, it's okay where I am.
Oh, yeah.
And if you trust that, and you know that, our existence is a blink of an eye, and we can either be together with them or moved on to wherever we're supposed to be, but it's all the way it should be, then you can get a little bit stronger each time. Even though the weight of the grief is bigger, our strength to bear it is also greater.
Right. And for all we know, they can probably be having parties with other pets who have crossed the bridge. And
yeah, if I get there someday, I am going to be so overwhelmed by packs of animals that I've loved. It's like, oh my gosh, can you just feel inside yourself the love that would just burst you open from every connection you've had?
Oh, so much love. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you've been helping other people to cope with pet loss. So I'm just curious, how do you feel when you help other people cope with and teach them how to communicate or have better connections?
when I see someone who has been at the lowest point in their life, grieving, and then they're able to report some little sort of mystical happening where they go, I think my pet sent that message. And you can see a certain lightness behind their eyes that I have hope. I can get through this. I have hope. It's amazing. And I've often said, if there ever comes a day, and there won't, that I don't cry just as hard as the other person, that's the day I hang up my chaplaincy vestments or whatever, because and it can't happen. I mean, I can talk about losing pets and be okay, but it doesn't mean that I don't cry at the drop of a hat and that I don't feel every ounce of empathy for the person who's suffering, for the pet who suffered. And also every time I'm there and I see a very gentle, loving, calm euthanasia, every single time I just say, I want to go like that. I want to go like that, because it is such a peaceful thing and it is such an act of love. And I hope someday that the world over, they'll figure it out and say, it's okay to do this for people in need too. I mean, it's happening in a few countries and a few states, but so far we tend to make everyone hang on and suffer a lot longer than they need to.
It's amazing, and it's really wonderful that you're doing something that you're born to do and you help other people. So is there anything else that you would like to share, something that we haven't covered or you think is important for people to hear?
Just hug your pets, hug them, love them, thank them, because I found that it's almost like they have a sacred contract with us, and they sign on to be there with us through certain events in our lives. And for instance, when I started losing all my pets, it was shortly, after I had a divorce. And, so say you move to a new state, or you have a kid, or, there's some huge life change that's happened. Sometimes you'll see pets say, okay, this is my time to exit. I got you to this point, and that was what I was supposed to do. And so, don't be surprised when it happens, because they really have signed on to be there for us, to get us through maybe, a challenging illness of our own, or an emotional turmoil, or a job loss, or whatever. And oftentimes they'll hang on until they know you're okay. And maybe they've found another person for you, or they found another pet for you, or you've gotten in a new house and you're going to be fine. And that's all kind of part of what's okay with them. They don't mind. It's like, I've thought about it. Now, say we lost a limb, and we would just feel terrible. I can't do the things I used to do. And oh my gosh, I look terrible. And this is awful. And poor me, poor me. An animal loses a limb, and once it's healed and it no longer hurts, they're going, hey, I want to get over there and get that bone. Got it. I'm good. They don't have the self-consciousness that we do. They don't have the sense of, I'm missing out on something. They're so in the now,
Right.
that as long as they aren't in pain and they're having, they're able to do those things that bring them joy.
Right.
They're really good. They're really good. They
so good, yeah.
We just want too much, we can just accept things the way they do, and just, this is good. Every day is good.
Yeah, every day is the best day ever. And really, there's really a lot to learn from them. They really teach us how to live better, love better. And I like what you said, the sacred contract, because that's really what they're here for. And if you're sensitive enough, if you're open enough, you get all the benefits of that.
Oh, it's so rich. It's so rich.
Very much. Yeah, and all right. Before we end this, do you have a free offer in mind? Can you share with our audience or anything or somewhere they can find you?
Yes, they can contact me at Sid, SID,
Mhm.
at just, JUST, arting, ARTING, around, AROUND, MN for
All
Minnesota.com.
right.
Sid, just arting around MN.com. And if you contact me, I can offer you a pretty card that I did some artwork for of a pet missing a person. And I've sent Berns a picture of that. You
Yeah.
can put it up with the show. And you can either ask for that or a copy of my children's book that I wrote at the start of COVID called Weathering the Storm Together. And I'll be happy to send either one to you for free. And if you contact me, and you can also visit my website for my grief book
All
at
right.
Good Grief Pet Loss at gmail.com, or goodgriefpetloss.com is the website.
All right. Okay. So we'll be posting the links to our site, to our page. And yeah, we've had a very special show today, and I hope that it has provided meaning for everyone. And I wish you much love. Thank you so much, Sid, for being with us and sharing with us all those beautiful stories. I wish everyone a lovely life with your pets and all the best for the new year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. And you have such an enormous and genuine heart that I know this message will get to everyone who needs it. And I wish you all the best with your new book that you will be producing and printing. And I long to see it. I look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And really, taking this step by step, one step after another until I get there. And that's really, yeah, one of my paths with my cats, so past and
Yeah.
present.
Great.
All right. Okay. So thank you again. It's really nice having you here and appreciate your time. And so I'll see you around. I'll send some updates and future events as well. So bye for now and have a blessed day. Have a blessed new year.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.